Hey, hello, my Redskins fans. Welcome back once again, my fellow feathered tribesmen, into this channel where we discuss everything Washington Redskins. So do me a favor, go to that refrigerator of yours, pull out yourself a nice tall glass of whatever your preference. Sit back, kick your feet up, and let me take the helm for just a little while. In this channel, where we may not always agree, but the admission here is free. I am your West Coast host, Burgundy Fly Guy, and this is I just got done trying to troubleshoot my last live stream. I had planned this thing for a couple of weeks, and as I'm live streaming, for those of you that were on my channel when I was live streaming, there's only a couple of you, that live stream actually ended up stopping. I wasn't necessarily sure what was going on. I just kept going. I have not necessarily messed a whole lot around with live stream content. I had only done one live stream event before, and frankly, to tell you the truth, it's been really difficult to even come out and want to do a live stream, just simply because of the way that I have my channel set up and the way that I like to edit my stuff. That's a big part of the process that I actually enjoy doing. But given the events that were taking place here with the NFL draft, I wanted to get a little bit more interactive with my fan base, and the last one I had was, I felt, fairly successful. However, I do believe the last live stream event that I got, there was a notice that I had on my last live stream that said something about how there was questionable content, and it was up pending for some, I don't know, it said that there was some questionable content on there, and it was under review. And honestly, I get those. I get a couple of those every once in a while. I get a couple of those where I'll get a little bit of a flag. I don't know what's going on with it, and nothing happens of it. Nothing comes of it. And I don't necessarily, pay very much attention to it because my video's up. My video's still doing what it is it's supposed to be doing, and I don't pay that much attention to it. This last live stream, I got a little bit of a deal where it said something very similar, and I didn't pay very much attention to it because, like I said, I've always gotten them. Well, then this live stream, I come on and I'm live streaming, and then all of a sudden I'm getting this red status down below where it's saying something about how the chat's been turned off. I'm trying to get the chat working, So then I end up dropping out of live stream to figure out what's going on with the chat so I can come back on and start streaming again, only to realize that my streaming has been terminated because I've got a strike again. Well, not a strike, but I've got content that it's not allowing me to continue my live stream. And they've, according to the page that I saw before, they had shut off access to my last live stream because of the very similar situation. So I don't know what's going on. And I got to tell you, I got comments about this after this video, after this last comment. I've had some situations going on where I have not been happy at all with YouTube that I'm going to share. But all that notwithstanding, I was in the middle of my mock draft rant situation where I was commenting about this draft and taking a look at some of the mocks that were coming out. And these last couple of weeks have gotten more and more interesting. And like I said in that stream, I don't have access to a lot of the high-profile mocks, and I never will. I don't consider them to be worth the money or my time, to tell you the truth. If they're not freely available, then frankly, what is it about your opinion that makes me want to spend money on a membership so that I can view your bullshit ideas? I think it's garbage, to tell you the truth. I think it's a ploy to steal money from your pocket, honestly, and it's embarrassing. But that's the way that the cookie crumbles, and that's the way that it is. I could choose not to participate in it, which I choose not to. I've got my own opinions on what this draft is going to look like and who I want to see out of it and who I don't think is going to be worth it. But that's me. Who am I? I'm not somebody that's charging people for my content, and I never will. But I was talking about the four horsemen of this draft, and the four horsemen that I'm talking about are the quarterbacks. The top four quarterbacks out of this draft that are probably going to go in the first round. I think that a big part, because I've heard some people mention, even in my live stream chat tonight, somebody was mentioning the fact about trading down. Trading down for more picks. I could see that, but I would never do it because I feel that there's way too much talent to be had at 13. And with the holes that you got, you need a high-profile defensive player on your team that can really, really help your defensive situation out. That's if you go defense. If you're planning on taking a wide receiver, if you're planning on taking a running back, then yeah, I'm in all support of trading down and getting more picks. I don't think that there are very many first-round draft selection wide receivers and running backs out there that I would waste a first-round pick on. There's hardly any running backs in this draft that I would take a look at and say this kid's a first-round talent. I don't think this juice guy I don't think that this kid out of LSU is a first-round talent. I don't think he is. He's not going to be that kind of an impactful player coming into the league from college. I think he's going to be a great addition to somebody. I think in another 2 or 3 years, he's going to be a major force to be reckoned with in the NFL. But in 2018, one of the league leaders, one of an obvious starter, and somebody who's going to propel your offense into the nether sphere? No, there's nobody in this draft that I see that's going to be able to do that. The only guy that's going to be able to do that is going to be Saquon Barkley, and that is it. And you can kiss your idea of picking him up at 13 goodbye. He's going to be going in the first 2 or 3 picks. He's gone. But the four horsemen, on the other hand, I'm looking at the four horsemen in this draft. If these four quarterbacks go before 13, you have a real opportunity to land yourself a good, solid, quality defensive addition to your team. The more I'm leaning towards it, the more I'm looking at it. Unfortunately, my number one draft selection in this draft, the number one guy that I would want at 13 is Vita Vea. And I mentioned that in my last live stream. I'm leaning more on the idea that Vita Vea will not be there at 13. I have a feel with the needs that some of these teams need on defense and the utility that he provides at a position that you just don't see a whole lot of people that have the physical attributes that a Vita Vea has out of college every single year. That skill set's going to be a high commodity in the draft. They always are. And I have a feeling that you're going to take a look at teams like maybe San Francisco. I definitely see a team like Tampa Bay picking up an individual like Vita Vea. I see 2 or 3 teams. In fact, to name 3, honestly, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think even the San Francisco 49ers, maybe even the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders, I think, are sold on some other defensive players, but they could very well pick up a Vita Vea. I would love to have a Vita Vea over here. What's this one draft that I'm looking at right here? Land of 10. I'm looking at your guys' top 10 selections here. And you have Vita Vea going at number 26 for the Atlanta Falcons. Who is the author of this draft? Who are you? What is your name? There is no name. Oh! Wayne Stats. Everybody subscribe to him on Twitter. Wayne Stats, Land of 10. Yeah, you look like you've played copious amounts of football in your time. I could tell by your bone structure that you were a thumper out there on the gridiron. Right. Anyway, back to the four horsemen. I'm kind of hoping that we get four quarterbacks that are drafted in the top 12. If we have that, I'm looking at a couple players. If Vita Vea is not available, to be absolutely honest with you, I would have... I would not be adverse to picking up a Daron Payne. I think that's a direction that we will go. I am not sold on Daron Payne being a centerpiece for this defense. I don't think he is not a nose tackle. If we decided to take a Daron Payne and switch to a 4-3, I think we would get the most out of him. That's not going to happen. But Daron Payne would be a huge addition to us either way, coupled up with Jonathan Allen in this defense. That would be a very, very good selection for us. Minkah Fitzpatrick, if Minkah Fitzpatrick is available, I would love to have a Minkah Fitzpatrick. I would take him at number 13 overall. But another guy that I'm really, really liking, another guy that I would really, really like to see, and I have a feeling is going to go even earlier. He's probably not going to make it to 13. And that's Tremaine Edmonds out of Virginia Tech. I was very impressed with Tremaine Edmonds as an outside rusher. I think he's got... I think he's got, with his skill set, what he's able to do on that football field, in the backfield, and in the face of the quarterback, he's got some tremendous abilities, and I think he'd be a tremendous asset to us. Moving him in there right along with some other pass rushers that we have on this football team that are fairly good, I think he'd be a great addition for us. I would love to have that individual here. So there's probably about a good 3 or 4 first-round draft selections that I would like to see us. I wouldn't mind seeing us take. I am not a big Marcus Davenport fan. I would not take Marcus Davenport that early in the draft. If I had a late draft, late first-round pick, and Marcus Davenport fell to me, I would probably take him then. 13, I think, personally, is too high for Marcus Davenport. I was just not impressed with Marcus Davenport's ability as an outside pass rusher on a consistent basis. I'm not seeing it. I think he has the ability to be a potential in the NFL, but an immediate impact player as a first-round draft selection at number 13, no, I'm not wasting a pick on that. I don't think he has it. Who else do I have? First round. Roquan Smith. I wouldn't mind a Roquan Smith. I don't think we're going to take one because of our linebacker situation. We just got done signing a middle linebacker, somebody who does really, really well for us, so I don't think we'd necessarily take him. But I have him listed as a first-round talent. Taking a look, Alabama's Minkah Fitzpatrick, I mentioned him. This kid out of Florida State, Derwin James, I would like to see a Derwin James. The only thing that worries me about Derwin James is I question his instincts in the backfield. He's been caught out of position many, many times, and he's been caught loafing many times. He has a tremendous ability. He plays up a lot. I've seen Derwin James play linebacker. As an NFL scout, as an NFL general manager, that doesn't blow my skirt up any. Because Derwin James is not a linebacker in the NFL. He's not going to be playing that position there. He's just doing it for Florida State University's psychological eccentricities. That's the reasons why he's doing it in Florida State. He's not going to be doing that in the NFL. And it drives me nuts to see when a player does that, if I'm drafting talent, if I'm looking at talent and scaling talent at a collegiate level, seeing a guy like that play way out of position just for shits and giggles, hey, whatever, that's going to help your team. Do what you got to do. But I'm looking for a safety. I'm looking for somebody to cover deep third. I'm looking for somebody to cover deep half. I'm looking for somebody to cover deep everything. If I'm looking for a single high, and he played a lot of single high deep cover safety and did a fairly decent job. But his instincts have to be a hell of a lot better, and his speed has got to be a lot more up there to do that at the next level. I don't see him. He's doing that at Florida State. Will he do that in Washington? No, he doesn't have that ability. Very, very few safeties have. He has the potential. I just don't necessarily see it at the next level, but he is a first-round talent. Would I be upset if we picked him? No, I wouldn't be upset if we picked him. I don't necessarily know if we need him necessarily at that position, but he's a great, athletic talent. They say that you should take talent first in the draft. We've got some pretty good safeties back there this year coming. So would I take him? Yeah, I'd take him. I wouldn't be all that adverse to it. Who else would I not necessarily be adverse to? Taking a look at first round draft selections, Deron Payne and Vita Vea. We're listing the top 2 of my interior defensive linemen. That's about it that I have for first round draft selection. Those 2. Those are the only 2 individuals that I have listed. Everybody else has dropped significantly when it comes to taking a look at defensive line for the Washington Redskins. And a lot of these guys are actually rated a lot higher. And I mentioned in my last video my opinions on a lot of these guys. Let's see. Taking a look at some mocks. Yeah, with some of these mocks that I'm seeing, who do we got here? Josh Rosen. Josh Allen going first, second round, Sam Darnold, third round, Baker Mayfield, fourth round, Josh Rosen. Bam, right off the bat, first 4. That's probably not going to happen. 6, Roquan Smith. 7, Saquon Barkley. Number 8, Quentin Nelson. Number 9, Tremaine Edmonds. Number 10, Denzel Ward. Number 11, Vita Vea. Cleveland, Mika Fitzpatrick. And then coming number 13, I could see myself taking a Derwin James in that selection. I would probably pull the trigger on a Derwin, considering my first 3 draft selections that I would want at 13 are gone and off the board in accordance to this mock draft. Taking a look at another one, I'm just going to plug another mock up here real quick. Who do we got at CBS Sports? Let's take a look at what CBS Sports has, shall we? Okay. Where is your list, pal? Number 1, Josh Allen. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, number 3. Okay, number 4, it's Sam Darnold to the New England Patriots on a trade. Okay. I'll play your game. Number 4, Bradley Chubb, edge rusher out of NC State. Number 6, Tremaine Edmonds. Kind of seeing a pattern here. Tremaine Edmonds is going early, I think. Number 7, Quentin Nelson. I think they're going defense, but okay, Quentin Nelson. I'll play your game. Number 8, Roquan Smith. Number 9, Marcus Davenport to the 49ers. Number 10, Oakland Raiders select Derwin James. Number 11, Josh Rosen. My 4 horsemen are gone. Number 12, quarterback Mason Rudolph to the Bills because they've traded, obviously. Number 13, this guy has us going Minka Fitzpatrick, Alabama. No. No. I would not be down with that. I'd be fine with Minka Fitzpatrick, but I'd be pissed. I think that very few teams need a Vita Vea more than us. Very few teams. We need a Vita Vea in that middle. That's who I'm pushing all of my chips at the center of the table on at 13. If he's available, if those cards are on my table, I'm going all in. I'm going after the juggler. I'm going all in. Vita Vea is on my team. I need somebody to plug that nose tackle spot. So that is that mock. There's not really a whole lot of diversity that I'm seeing in some of these drafts. Draft Wire, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, number 1 to the Cleveland Browns. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. Number 4, Bradley Chubb. Number 5, Josh Allen. Number 6, Quentin Nelson. Number 7, Josh Rosen. Number 8, Tremaine Edmonds. Number 9, Roquan Smith. Number 10, Minka Fitzpatrick. We still got a couple of our 4 horsemen left. Number 11, Lamar Jackson. Okay. Number 12, Derwin James. And number 13, Denzel Ward. Washington Redskins cornerback, Denzel Ward out of Ohio State. He's another one that's sneaking up on us. Again, Vita Vea is the guy that I'm taking at 13. Would I be upset with a Denzel Ward? Yes, I would be, knowing that Vita is still on the menu. But if Vita is not on the menu and I select a Denzel Ward, would I be upset with that? Taking a look at who it is you have left. Yeah, Minka's gone. I would not be adverse to a Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward's a good corner. He's a really, really good corner at Ohio State, and we could use corner help. Frankly, with the corner position, we're needing it at corner. You know, Kendall Fuller. A lot of people thinking that Kendall Fuller is going to be that next guy to move up. I think that he's going to be the next one to move up. Whether he's going to answer the call, that's a whole other ball of wax. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be there. So that's 3 mock drafts there, guys, that I'm taking a look at. I haven't looked at a whole lot of my fellow Redskin vidmakers as far as what your guys' mocks have been. I know there are some that are out there. And I might go on at some point in time in the next week to take a look at what it is that some of you guys have listed. However, that's not necessarily going to be a thing because right now people are going to be coming out with their predictions for the schedule. I will not be doing a prediction for a schedule. I don't do those. I hate those. And I don't even necessarily watch other people's videos, to be honest with you, that do those things. So I won't be doing a prediction video for the 2018 schedule. Last but not least, this has nothing to do with football. This has nothing to do with Redskins football. So if you guys are into my channel for that and don't want to continue to listen, you can go ahead and cut off now because we're going to be going into a much, much different topic that has very little to do with why you guys plug into my channel as far as Redskins thoughts go with BFG. I have been extremely cognizant of the state of affairs on social media the last couple of years. And I got to tell you, I haven't been happy. I've been very, very concerned with the influence, the media influence that corporations have over America. It was bad. It's always been bad. It's always been bad. It was bad when it was in print. It was bad when it was on television. It still is under both of those forums. But with the introduction of the new technology that is the internet, we've started to see this take a move into a similar direction, only on a much, much more nefarious scale. We derive a lot of our information online now, and I couldn't be more disgusted with how information gets presented, with how information gets consumed, with how information gets passed down to John Q. public than when it's passed out over the internet. It's a lot of it's misleading, a lot of it is false, a lot of it is flat out lies, a lot of it is rhetoric driven and does not serve any particular journalistic purpose whatsoever. And I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't already know, but it's getting more and more precarious where we're getting fewer and fewer corporations that are owning the internet now. And YouTube has been, in my opinion, doing everything that it can to knock itself out of the business the last couple of years. I have a lot of hobbies that I have on the side from just watching football, things that I like to do in my spare time. And one of those things that I like to do in my spare time is extremely controversial. It's a controversial hot button topic. And I'm not going to go into too much detail as to what that is, but there have been vid makers that I have followed tremendously. If you take a look at some of my subscriptions, you'll see exactly what it is that I'm talking about, but I've been following a lot of these individuals for years. And YouTube has done it a lot on their part to systematically and unjudiciously eliminate their channels for no apparent reason whatsoever, other than the fact that they don't agree with the same political views that YouTube wants to push. They are demonetizing their channels, and then it's ultimately leading to strikes, and it's ultimately leading to deletion. And that I don't like at all. I don't believe in the First Amendment when it comes to a private organization like YouTube. YouTube can conduct itself any way that it wants to. But how it conducts itself will depict on whether I feel the need to participate in your product or not. I will tell you right now, I'm keeping a very close eye on some of these upstart companies that are starting these media channels like YouTube. And I have a feeling when they get big enough, I'm going to be canceling my YouTube account and jumping ship because, pardon my French and pardon my language, I don't curse very often on my channel, but fuck YouTube. Fuck them. I can't stand fucking YouTube. These guys have done everything in their power to manipulate They've done everything in their power to ostracize. They've done everything in their power to silence and get rid of people that don't agree with them. They're a bunch of spoiled bitches in California that have never taken a punch in their face in their life, never had any adversity, have never been told to their face that they're wrong and had to face that adversity. They've never had any adversity in their lives. They've always had, mommies there to wipe their asses. They've still got umbilical cords attached, and they're a bunch of pansies. And if they don't agree with what it is that you're doing, they get vindictive, they get vengeful, they kick and they scratch and they cry, and they've got a little criteria for getting revenge. And you can't act more petulant as an organization than what I've seen YouTube do. I've seen some really good channels go down, disappeared, gone. And only because their channel is practicing a livelihood that is perfectly legal, a livelihood that only until recently has become extremely controversial, has been a hot topic item, and rather than stop putting out videos because of that controversy, they've held their feet to the fire and have continued making videos, continued to give you their opinions and give you, if not anything, their product and their ideas, and pass down information the best way that they know how. Not all that unlike what I try to do here on the BFG channel, and YouTube has it just flat out eliminated them. And a lot of these guys have moved to other video channels. They've moved to other places. There's like two or three of them out there that are fairly prominent right now that are actually starting to gain a little bit of traction, where you can go and talk about just about anything that you want to, anything that is perfectly legal. You have more than a right to go and talk about it. But if you're not leaning a little left in your political views, you come under the crosshairs. And I got to tell you, I don't lean left or right hardly at all. I kind of shoot for pretty much the middle when it comes to my political views. But if there's something that somebody's saying that I don't agree with politically, I'm not asking for your channel to be eliminated. I live in a country where you have a right to say what it is that you feel that you think is right, where you have the ability to say what you think politically, how it is that you believe. And if I don't agree with you, then I have to have the ability to be able to listen to you, because that's what this country was founded on. Being able to voice your opinion, being able to exercise your amendment rights that you were given by individuals who have died for this country. And if not everybody agrees with you, then that needs to be fine. We don't teach those things in school nowadays. We don't teach those things to our kids nowadays. That if somebody says something to you or something that you don't agree with, that's okay. We don't teach those things. We teach you to lash out. We teach you to act like a bitch. We teach you to throw a temper tantrum. And we teach you to go after legal means. We teach you to call the cops. We teach you to waste resources because your feelers were hurt. You poor thing. And I'm seeing more and more of it. And I've got live stream events that I've got going up where I'm talking about football. And I don't know if it's a logo. I don't have any music that's copyrighted on these live stream events. I don't know why that's getting flagged and deleted. Maybe, I don't know what it is. I don't even have a football logo on my channel. I'm talking about football. And I'm getting flack for it from YouTube, which is fine. I don't mind it. YouTube is a privately owned corporation. They can conduct themselves any way that they choose. But I don't have to stick around. I don't have to continue doing this. I don't have to view their product. And I can tell you right now, YouTube's days with me are numbered, where I'm just going to eventually end up jumping ship and saying to hell with YouTube, and I'll consume my media elsewhere, where more and more people can talk about things that they want to talk about, things that they're passionate about, things that I want to watch. And I watch things that I don't agree with. I watch things all the time that I don't agree with. There's a couple cowboy channels out there that I watch because I find their personalities to be mildly entertaining. I'll watch some of their stuff just because I have for years. Even if you have something that I don't necessarily agree with, and YouTube ends up axing your channel, I have sympathy for those individuals. And that's the direction things are going now, guys. This is turning into, if you know your history, we're following the 1930s Nazi Germany blueprint. That's where we're going. And it's discouraging. It's scary. And when you've got a major source of entertainment, your news, your time that is being consumed online, and you got more and more corporations that are tailoring what it is that you consume to fit their narrative, it's scary to think about what kind of world that we're growing up in, and what kind of world that we're having to live in, and what kind of a world we're bringing human beings into that are so easily influenced, that are so easily upset, and so easily to bring their hammer of wrath on people, whether it's justified or not. It's getting ridiculous. YouTube is getting ridiculous. You're getting a little too big for your britches. And frankly, in another 5 years, if you end up falling by the wayside and it ends up becoming this big tragic story, I will be out in the streets with pom-poms cheering my goddamn ass off. Because a lot of you guys are some of the weakest individuals that I have ever come across. And that's just my opinion of YouTube. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked my channel if I ended up getting, taken by the Gestapo, if ICE comes to my residence and wanting to take me, even though I'm a U.S. citizen and they don't give a shit, throwing me into a big panel van and tossing me down to Texas on my way across the border. I wouldn't be surprised if my YouTube channel getting eliminated. That's just the way they roll. That's just the way they operate, and that's the way things have been going here for the last couple of years. And I've gotten to the point where I almost kind of expect it. So that's going to be the end of my rant, guys. That's going to be the end of my getting all that crap off my chest. I'm glad I did it. Leave your post your comments and stuff down below. Let me know what it is you think about the Des Bryant situation. That was something that I covered in my live stream, about this year's 2018 schedule, about this year's draft. I've got my draft board pretty much going up. I've got it in an Excel spreadsheet, so when it comes online this year, there's going to be some names that I'm going to be following, that I'm going to be taking a long, hard look at, and kind of following it a lot closer this year and having a much greater depth and knowledge of who a lot of these players are based on research that I've done. So that's going to do it for me, guys. For us fans, the Twin Feather, we ride together. Redskins for life. Peace out. We'll catch you all next time.